Hello everybody, welcome back to Organic Master Gardening. It's 779, here we are in southern Hungary yet again. It's really nippy outside today, coming into the beginning of March. We've had some fairly nice temperatures outside, chilly evenings, a bit breezy. So we're inside today because this is the job I've really got to get on with, and these are the tomatoes that I started about 3 weeks ago now. And on this section here, we've got the Roma, then we've got San Maurizio, and then we've got Kecskemét Jubilee, which is a local town to us. I'm translating the word Jubilee because it sort of looked like that word on the packet. But anyway, what I want to do now, these are getting a little bit leggy is probably the term, as you can see, but I've got two true leaves on these plants, these individual plants. And so they're now ready to get transplanted up into a bigger cell, which is what we've got there. We'll come to that in a second. Now, I don't know if you've ever noticed before that on a tomato plant you can get tiny little hairs on the main growing stems of your plants once you get them outside, and if any of that stalk or stem, if you like, with those hairs on comes into contact with the soil, the tomato will produce shoots or roots off that, and so will grow a lot stronger. And so therefore, with that theory in mind, like I say, these are quite leggy, and what I'm going to be looking to do is to transplant them up to about that kind of depth. So all of that will go into the new pots over there. So, and the other thing I'll be doing, I'll be lifting them out with a small little gadget that I've got and holding them by the true leaves so I don't damage those stems. So let's have a look at how we're going to get on with that one. Okay, so in this module tray that I've got, that is a little bit stronger than the flimsy ones that the tomatoes are currently in, that I've not been too impressed with. I've got my potting mix, and it's a mixture of multi-purpose compost, there's some garden compost, there's some old green waste compost in there, and I've mixed it all together, having sieved it to 4 millimeters. And then what the idea is that you fill these trays, and when you fill them, the next thing you want to do is to push all of the cells down to firm them up. And then you do another layer of compost across the top of that, and you don't need to do it. Now the reason for that is that by pushing your first layer of compost down and then transplanting into the new covering that you put on, when you come to transplant the finished article, if you like, to its final destination, or into another pot if you want to, when you lift these things out, the roots will hold the compost together. If it's too loose, you pick it up, it loses a lot of the soil that's already in there. And then the other thing what I've done is, just to get ready, is I've used my little gadget here, which is basically a multi-purpose knife with a screwdriver attachment, and I made holes in every single one of those cells, and then I'll use the same thing again to lift the transplants out and lower them in. So let's get cracking. See how many I break. Okay then, so we're going to start with the Romas. Now the other thing about these guys is that when I transplant, when I sowed the seeds initially, I've not had a fantastic success rate in germination. But there we go. There is the seedling, and I just literally gently lower him into the hole that I've already made. Get him in as far down as I possibly can. Firm him round. It's such a gentle process because you don't want to damage the delicate seedling. And we'll take another one here and we'll do the same with this one. And what I'm looking at here is I'm looking to take out you've got to concentrate. Now look, you see where that compost was firmed and the soil has gone around that. That's too big for my hole. I'm just going to gently knock a bit of that compost off, still holding those top two leaves. There you can see the root. It's tiny, absolutely so fragile. And then we'll just pop him gently into there. Ideally, I'd like that to be a little bit lower, but it doesn't look too bad. Now, it's going to take me a long time to do all these. I've got 104 modules that I sowed here. I obviously don't have 104 that's germinated successfully. Anyway, as I say, this will take some time, so I will continue doing this because really I don't know, but I probably would be able to work out how to use my fast forward camera on this, but I'm not into tech that much, as you all know, so I will crack on with this, pause the recording for now, continue listening to Ken Bruce on the radio, and then we'll come back when this tray is finished. I've got another one outside ready to go, so it could be a while. Let's see how long it takes. So I'll crack on, go and have a cup of tea. Okay, you may notice that I've stopped using this and I switched over to a pencil. There we go. And the reason behind that was I actually found it easier to take out the transplant. So I'm just taking out the very last one now. It was just much easier to get it out and then drop it. Come here. Drop them straight down. Give them a little gentle push, a bit of encouragement. And then firm them up around the edges. And there we go. Now the thing is, first of all, eagle-eyed viewers will notice that I'm not outside today. I'm in the conservatory, which we also use as a living room. And I'm actually doing this on a very nice old oak gate leg table that we sit and have our dinner at. So if the lady of the house sees this, she's probably going to kill me unless I get it tidied up and clean before she comes home. And of course I'll do that, so that isn't an issue. So there we are. Now the thing, if you can, I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll try and see if I can move the camera a little bit. But it's probably better just to pick it up. Now, so I started off with this tray here. So it had over 100 seedlings in there, or 100 cells if you like. And this tray here that I've just used has got 66 plants in. So obviously there's a difference of 40. Well, okay, you can see there's some there that are pretty weak. And there are also quite a few that didn't germinate. In particular, the Roma variety. And that's one of the keenest ones. That's the one I'm most keen of having a good success rate from, if you like. But you're never going to be 100%. You can't. It's not possible because you'll get some seeds that aren't, viable. Conditions can vary on the size of the tray with regards to things like heat, moisture and that kind of stuff. But even so, I've got 66 plants there and I'm confident that they'll all be okay. Let's drop down a little. You can see the size of the modules. So they're pretty deep. And there's enough good quality compost in there to kick these guys on. So what I'll do now is they will go back out into the wood burning room under some grow lights, and I will keep you updated on a weekly basis as to how they're getting on, and we'll go from there. Now the other thing is I was talking about how I'm going to be planting them outside, because I can grow tomatoes outside here. I'm quite lucky in that regard. I've identified the area that I want to do it, and also how I'm going to be making the no-dig bed. I'm not going to be using cardboard. I've come up with another idea that does exactly the same job as cardboard. I will still use sawdust, and I'll still use some old green waste compost and some old horse manure and some garden compost as well. But like I say, I've come up with a great way of replacing the cardboard with something else that it will do exactly the same job and is organic. So tune in for that video soon, which is going to be the next few days, because I want to get on and get that bed made. So it's got time to settle down and be ready for these guys to be transplanted straight out into the garden in about 5 to 6 weeks time, maybe a little bit longer. We'll see how we go on with the growth. Okay, well, that's the second part of our season, series, if you like, of growing tomatoes. You've seen the first one about how to start them off from seed when we had this tray here. And now this is how we get them pricked out or transplanted. Pricked out is the official term, into this to grow on. And like I say, I'll keep them in the warm, keep them damp, and we'll go from there. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you found it informative, great, give us a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. In the meantime, take care of yourselves.